Del the Funky Homosapien.
Yep. What's happening?
Hey man, I'm such a huge fan right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I always have been. And like we were just talking about outside, Hieroglyphics were the first group that I actually saw, walking around the neighborhood that I was living in when I was going to Berkeley. And, you guys had major label deals and like the music was on the radio and how it was dope. And it was like, at that point, I started to really think like, maybe I could do this hip hop shit too. Because I'd never met any rappers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Up until then.
Right. And it was face and like that,
yeah. Yeah. Hanging out on Telegraph Ave, smoking weed, chilling. Like, it kind of made it more attainable at that point. And it started getting me thinking about actually doing hip hop for a living myself.
Yeah.
So you guys are big, huge inspiration for what I do.
Okay. Right on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's start in the beginning. You grew up in Oakland.
Right.
Okay. And you're actually Ice Cube's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point did you actually start thinking about doing music?
You know what? That was probably last. Because I was DJing for a minute, and I was breakdancing. I used to dance a lot too, and do graffiti and stuff. So the last thing probably for me was to be rapping or making music. So that was like maybe around early 80s, maybe mid 80s. Still in grade school, stuff like that,
Okay. So you started writing raps.
I was writing poetry at first.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I was just gifted as a writer. I used to be in gate class and all kind of shit. So I heard like Grandmaster Flash, the
Message.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that was something I could relate to basically. Like all the images and stuff he was saying in the songs was stuff I actually was seeing. So I gravitated more towards that versus the poetry I was doing in class and stuff, you know what I mean? Like I want to do this kind of poetry, you know what I mean? I just wanted to be into anything that had something to do with the streets, basically.
Okay. So
hip hop just kind of spoke to me like that because it was kind of like bad to me, like, whatever, you know what I mean?
Right. So Ice Cube started to blow up. Because I remember that first Eazy-E album was a very important album. Because I went through that same Grandmaster Flash phase and the Run DMC phase, and then at one point I kind of started to lose a little bit of interest in it and started getting more into like U2 and like other, some of like the rock groups that were doing their thing during that time. And then someone played me Easy Does It. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm right back into it now. Like this is all I want to listen to.
Yeah.
And Ice Cube was kind of one of the main driving forces.
Pretty much.
In terms of writing.
He was in school at the time. He was away at school, I think school of architecture or something like that. So he had to go to school. But while he was there, he was working on writing for Easy, And then when he came back, he hopped up with NWA.
Okay. And at what point did you guys start to link up, you and Cube?
I knew him since we was kids.
Okay.
So,
because he's a little older.
He's a little bit older, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd be following behind him, basically, whatever he was doing. Until he started trying to ditch me or something, you know what I'm saying? But
okay.
Like, I started working with Jinx, actually, with music. You know what I mean? I didn't really work with Cube with music till, like, I had something substantial. I think he was kind of like brushing me off, like, I think he thought that I was rapping because he was rapping or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, like, I actually, in my mind, was thinking I was tighter than he was, probably, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I was just into stuff that was way deeper as far as hip hop to me, you know what I'm saying? Like Ultramagnetic and all this stuff that'd be like, Q would be like, why you listen to that? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What do you like about Guru? Like, his voice is like boring, you know what I mean? Like, nah, dude, it's raw, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But now, we used to just kick it, whatever, listen to stuff like Public Enemy is something we could agree on, you feel me? So just tripping off that EPMD, you know what I mean? Groups like that is like groups that we both hella loved,
Yeah.
But I would be working with Jinx mainly. Like Cube would be gone somewhere and Jinx would be out in the driveway. Cause Jinx is, I believe, Dre's cousin.
I think so, yeah.
So they stayed right next door to my aunt. which is Cube's mom, right?
Which is in Compton,
Nah, in
South Central.
yeah, South Central.
Okay.
I can't remember that, but
Yeah.
yeah, South Central.
Okay.
So Jinx would be out in the front playing with remote control cars, and I just started fooling with him on that basis. Like he was still like kiddish enough, I guess, to be out there playing with remote control cars. And then from there, I found out he was a DJ. He DJ for CIA. So Cube, Jinx, and KD was a group called CIA in high school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Which kind of was like somewhat of a basis for NWA, sort of. Like Dre took the best from, like he do now. He took the
Right.
best from, you know, what he's seen
Yeah.
and kind of put NWA together from that. But he always knew that Cube was cold with the lyrics.
Right.
So he kind of got him from that.
Well, there's that line: Ice Cube writes the rhymes that I say. Peace to the from CIA. You know that was the line on
Right.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, yeah.
He's talking about Cube's group and also Cube writing for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working with Jinx. You guys are putting together like little demos and stuff like that.
It grew to that. Like he had like a little crew called Busy Boy Productions. So it's like King Dismo was down with that. Dazzy D was down with that. So these were some dudes that people knew in the hood and stuff to be like some cold rappers. But like I just used to be writing hella raps. So Jinx used to just start fucking with me like, okay, dude is like a monster. You know what I'm saying? He just pouring them out. So just on the strength of that, he just started kind of like working with me, kind of like to the head. And it got to the point where we started making little demos and stuff till it started getting kind of polished. He pretty much taught me everything I knew about songwriting, you know what I'm saying, about looking for breaks, production. Because prior to that, I didn't know how you got this piece from this record and got it on here. And
Right.
you feel me? Like, so watching him, I learned how to use the SP1200,
Right.
all this. I'm just kind of watching him and asking him, okay, so what does that button do? Oh, it's all on the front of the panel. Oh, okay. I was into computers and stuff too. So something like that, a drum machine, was like hella basic for me to use because I was already working on computers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was sort of the time that sampling was starting to even form, because the SP1200 was like the first. It wasn't the first sampler, but it was the first sampler that hip hop producers started to fuck with. You know, just because of the layout, because it was kind of a drum machine. It was a drum machine sampler.
Right.
Before then, it was keyboards and it was kind of more clunky.
Right.
Okay, so you start putting shit together.
Well, it's still kind of clunky then, but now I mean, it has a certain charm to it, though.
Yeah, and it had a certain sound when you slow it down. It was like a metallic kind of twang. I had one at one point.
Oh God.